Good evening, I'm Shane Jones, leading the news at 7. Government has moved to rein in its fiscal deficit by asking Barbadians to shoulder additional taxes this fiscal year. Finance Minister Chris Sinclair has declared the deficit public enemy number 1 and has introduced several measures to contain it in the short and medium terms. The main measure announced by Mr. Sinclair is an increase in the National Social Responsibility Levy from 2% to 10% from the 1st of July.
I now propose that effective July 1st, 2017, the rate of the NSRL be moved from 2% to 10%. It is anticipated that this will result in increased revenues of $291 million for full financial year and $280 million for the remaining 9 months of the current fiscal year. The expected breakdown in the contributions is projected to be NSRL $186 million, VAT $32 million, arising from the movement of the NSRL to 10%.
The National Social Responsibility Levy was introduced on September 1st, 2016 as a tax on goods imported into Barbados and on domestically manufactured goods. The Finance Minister also announced measures to stem the outflow of foreign exchange through the setting up of a broad-based foreign exchange commission to be charged on all sales of foreign currency at a rate of 2%.
Effective from July 1st, a broad-based foreign exchange commission will be charged on all sales of foreign currency at a rate of 2%. This will extend to, inter alia, all wire transfers, credit card transactions, and over-the-counter sales on foreign currency. This measure is also expected to raise an estimated $52.5 million Barbados dollars over the remainder of the current financial year and $140 million over a full financial year.
Mr. Sinclair also gave relief to Barbadians who owe the Barbados Revenue Authority land taxes and VAT through a further amnesty.
Due to numerous requests by stakeholders and a very high level of success of the last amnesty offered by government on certain taxes for which liabilities are owed, government has decided to implement an additional period during which taxpayers can benefit from the waiver of penalty and interest on taxes owed to the BRA for land tax and value-added tax. The amnesty will run from June 1st, 2017 until November 30th, 2017, and the same rules which were applicable to the last amnesty will apply in respect of this new period.
Mr. Sinclair also announced plans to divest the Hilton Hotel at Needham's Point, which currently is held under the portfolio of Needham's Point Holdings Limited, a company in which the Barbados government is the majority shareholder. The Finance Minister says discussions are taking place with the Central Bank and National Insurance Scheme to realize savings on interest expense from the reprofiling of government's debt in the sum of $70 million. He also announced increases in the price of gas and diesel.
Relative to tax on gasoline will be increased by 25 cents per litre, going from 74 cents to 99 cents, and on diesel by 24 cents from 20 cents to 44 cents. The June retail prices for gasoline on diesel will now June retail prices will now be based on the following prices. July. Gasoline $3.05. Diesel $2.25.
We'll have more on the budget on the evening news. Ease the squeeze. That was the general hope of party faithfuls and concerned Barbadians as a crowd gathered to greet members of Parliament ahead of this afternoon's budget. When our team arrived, one of the first people we found outside of Parliament was the Democratic Labour Party's candidate for the City of Bridgetown, Henderson Williams. He shared his expectations.
If I follow the lead given by the Minister of Finance, he's indicated that, his view is that he will continue to ensure that the people of Barbados are taken first, that we're not going to try to have a scenario where we focus on quote-unquote winning an election by providing goodies, but certainly treating to the needs of Barbados.
Just outside of the gates, there were two main groups of supporters. Those clad in T-shirts declaring, "Childless women have a voice and a vote." They aligned themselves with the Barbados Labour Party, and those in FATS T-shirts, supporters of the government.
I would like to hear things a little cheaper. Things a little cheaper that I could, get a better cost of living or whatever, because I really think that it's a bit high. So we will have to wait and see what they're doing inside the house there and how it will affect poor people or how it will benefit poor people.
If there's anything else that I will respect out of the budget is a raise. I'm not going to look for the 23%. Because at this point in time, I think that would be impossible. But at least they can be kind enough to us and have compassion enough on us to give us something after we've waited for so long.
We want somebody that already knows to focus what they are focusing on this country, take already responsibility for D or B. We want someone that are fully in charge, that can handle it for everyone. It is about everyone, not certain people and not certain people. We want fair justice for everyone.
The FATS group was far less animated than the other, stressing they were showing peaceful support.
You have to start everything with the Almighty God. And the person who have Almighty God started from the beginning will run the country, and we need Jesus.
This year's budget should be a budget that should assist all people, not an election budget where people are anticipating. I don't foresee the government coming with a spicy budget at this time. I feel it should be one that would help assist all Barbadians at this stage.
Let the country go forward. Instead of going to the IMF, do what they feel is right to get this country forward. You understand? That is what I want, a good budget.
On her arrival, BLP leader Mia Motley embraced her supporters. Then the back and forth began with the cheers and the boos. By then, MPs began to gather in the Parliament yard as the 4 o'clock hour inched closer. Soon after, with a heavy security detail, the man of the hour arrived, Finance Minister Chris Sinclair, accompanied by his wife, Arlene. Prime Minister Frundle Stewart was the last to arrive for the start of the 2017 budgetary proposals and financial statement. Okay, we'll take a short break here and come back with more news.
So, in an effort to test the credibility of this so-called speed squad, we have some random questions for you to answer. How quickly can you change clothes? The bag of groceries on the table. How fast can you guys prepare a meal? And go! Alright, which network gives you the speed you prefer and enjoy?
Join the fastest team and shift your Flow Fiber broadband into high gear by upgrading now at no extra cost for 3 months. Plus, enjoy the best of Flow TV for free.
Last question, who's the fastest?
I had to ask. Upgrade now.
We start with a yes. But when life takes unexpected turns, you can still say yes to more. The Scotiabank Aero Platinum MasterCard credit card gives you points with every purchase that you can use to travel to anywhere. Plus, with just 20,000 Scotia points, you can say yes to destinations. With Scotiabank Aero Platinum MasterCard credit card, it's easier to say yes to everything. Apply today.
Your insurance payment doesn't have to be a burden. At Beacon, we're happy to help finance your premium and spread your payments over 9 months so that it's easier to manage. Call 436-6200 or log on to beacon.co.tt.
Hello friends, this is Jeff Shepard inviting you to join us every Thursday from 6 to 7 on QFM for Nichols Bacon Inc. Manor. Always fresh.
So, in an effort to test the credibility of this so-called speed squad, we have some random questions for you to answer. How quickly can you change clothes? The bag of groceries on the table. How fast can you guys prepare a meal? And go! right. Which network gives you the speed you prefer and enjoy?
Join the fastest team and shift your Flow Fiber broadband into high gear by upgrading now at no extra cost for 3 months. Plus, enjoy the best of Flow TV for free.
Last question. Who's the fastest?
I had to ask. Upgrade now.
The island's largest indoor showcase of manufacturing and fashion, BMEX, gets underway in the next 3 days at the Lloyd Erskine Sandyford Center. This year's expo will feature 3 nightly fashion shows. CBC caught up with organizers who've been hard at work to ensure those shows live up to the high standards they're associated with. More from Rianne Phillips.
For the past 6 weeks, these models have been under intense training as they prepare to grace the BMEX catwalk. Fashion show co-producer John Hunt says the sessions help the new models to get the basics right.
This year we had our biggest turnout. Over 60 people were casted, and we had the hard task of bringing them down to about 30. So right now you're seeing about 24 girls and about 12 women, so that's more than 30 again. So we're trying hard to make it small, but we're seeing so much talent that we want to give them the opportunities.
Designers were present at the rehearsal to choose their models. They also spoke about the lines they'll be showcasing.
Basically, it's a black and white line, and some of the garments will be semi-formal to formal, and it will be a very elegant touch, like if you're going on dates or just a photo shoot or day out.
My collection is mainly ready-to-wear pieces. This is my first time, so I'm very much excited. Mostly casual.
The theme for BMEX 2017 is Back to Basics. Rianne Phillips, Cbc News.
China stands ready to cooperate with the island on more infrastructure projects. China's ambassador to Barbados, Wang Ke, says they're working to ensure a smooth completion of the Wyndham Sandlords Castle project. Work officially commenced on the project last June. Ambassador Wang is encouraging Barbados to take advantage of grants provided by her country.
To support local agricultural infrastructure projects and extend our bilateral collaboration to experiences sharing and technologies transfer in agriculture sector.
And with just days to go before a visa waiver agreement between Barbados and China takes effect, Ambassador Wang is optimistic that the island's tourism industry will benefit,
which opens new prospects for our tourism cooperation. I wish by our joint efforts of promoting Barbados as a tourist attraction, this country will benefit from Chinese tourist boom. The win-win partnership between China and Barbados is and will be a certainty. China is willing to share its development dividend and welcome Barbados get on board on China Express.
And the reception was held at the Hilton Hotel as part of activities commemorating the 40th anniversary of the establishment of diplomatic relations between Beijing and Bridgetown. Among those in attendance were representatives of government and the opposition. A commemorative cover was also unveiled marking the occasion. Guests were also treated to acrobatic and cultural presentations. Minister of Tourism and International Transport Richard Seeley says China's cooperation with Barbados has enriched the economy and society in many ways.
In sports, culture, and education. The Garfield Sober Sports Complex and the Lloyd Erskine Sandyford Center Conference Center, venues for so many significant events in Barbados, stand out as obvious landmarks for what I speak. They have played and continue to play a major role in national development. The meetings between Barbados and China at the highest level of our respective governments have been visibly a visible demonstration of the relationship as well.
There's no conflict between the Agricultural Society's push for more young people to get into farming and the Ministry of Labor's decision to send more young women overseas for farm labor programs. This assurance from CEO of the Barbados Agricultural Society, James Paul.
Barbadian workers going abroad have always maintained a good reputation in most cases when they compare to what happens in the other Caribbean islands. The fact that we can provide them a good starting ground here at home is something I would like to think that though we lose our best expertise, because again, why we are targeting our young women to look. We have this approach that women don't make an active contribution to agriculture. They do, in most cases. As a matter of fact, you just have to go down in the market when the start of the morning comes and see the amount of women traders. Yet some of them are farmers too, like anybody else.
Mr. Paul adds that some people still believe women should not be involved in such work. But he says women in agriculture receive income to support their families.
We don't know the untapped potential that we have sitting down there in our homes of women who can be engaged in agricultural activities even in their own space that they have there. One of the things that, for instance, we promote a lot in AgriFest is the whole area of the kitchen garden competition. We want to widen that even on an annual basis. And if you can get more women involved in kitchen garden competitions, you can be surprised the income that can be derived from a small space around you in a garden. Not only that, you might get income, even in supplementing your family food bill.
One man is now homeless after losing his house to fire this morning. 62-year-old Henderson Ward of Indian Ground, St. Peter, says he was on his way home this morning when someone stopped him to tell him that his house was on fire. However, by the time he returned, he had already lost everything.
Say something now. So when they got here, it was almost burned out. They lost everything. Nothing is there at all.
Heartbreaking. Mr. Ward says he has no idea how the place he called home for 23 years could have caught fire.
But that is, I can't do nothing more about it because it's already gone. You understand? But I ain't leave nothing and it's always burning. You understand? So then my friend come and tell me that my house on fire. It had me shot.
Acting Station Officer in charge, Anthony King, says the first fire tender arrived on the scene 15 minutes after receiving the call.
When the guys got here, the house was well engulfed. There were 2 appliances, 9 men under my command.
According to Senator Irene Sandiford Garner, through the Welfare Department, Mr. Ward will be temporarily accommodated in Rose Hill, St. Peter, and will receive clothing and foodstuff. The Barbados Investment and Development Corporation, in an effort to push the Barbados brand in its overseas markets, will be facilitating an inward mission of 11 buyers. They are expected on island to attend BMEX. The groups from the United Kingdom, the United States, Canada, Cuba, Panama, and CARICOM are due in Barbados today. It's anticipated that in visiting BMEX and observing the new and existing products, the buyers will be encouraged to place orders and push the Barbadian brands. The BIDC will also be hosting a buyer's brunch at Bagnall's Point Gallery, Pelican Craft Center tomorrow. At a time when there are mounting concerns about falling literacy rates among young people, a 23-year-old author has been attracting international attention for her first book. Lashawna Griffith, author of Lashawna Unlock the Door, explains the book has been picked up by international companies, Walmart and Barnes & Noble. She says the collection of 37 poems published 2 years ago has been well received. Ms. Griffith is also working on a second book which she hopes to release by year-end. Former owner of Rick's Supermarket, Carlington, Leroy Miller, was laid to rest yesterday at the Coral Ridge Memorial Gardens. The funeral service was held at the Christchurch Parish Church, where family, friends, and relatives paid tribute to him. His daughter, Lisa Miller Cumberbatch, says her father started out as a shopkeeper before he became a successful businessman. She also says he had a sharp mind and strong mathematics skills. He loved playing bridge, dominoes, and drafts. Well, after the break, we'll take a look at stories making headlines across our region.
Kingsley Store, your furniture and appliances store on Roebuck Street, welcomes you to come and purchase top quality items at great and affordable value. Come to Kingsley Store and see our locally crafted furniture. Check out Kingsley Store's small and large appliances, fridges, stoves, washing machines, blenders, irons, and so much more. Come get your single or double divans, pine beds, mahogany finished bed heads, and wardrobes. Let's go to the Kingsley Store, your furniture store on Roebuck Street. Our friendly staff is eagerly waiting to assist you.
In the Cayman Islands, for the second time in 4 days, longtime political rivals Alden McLaughlin and Makiva Bush agreed to form a coalition government. The two attempted a similar agreement previously, but abandoned the deal. Mr. McLaughlin will retain his position as Premier. Mr. Bush agreed to become Speaker of the House. The Legislative Assembly is due to meet tomorrow to swear in its new members. In Curacao, a new coalition government under the leadership of Prime Minister Eugene Raghunath has been sworn into office. This ended a period of more than 2 months in which an interim government was in power. The new government took office 1 month after elections. The coalition has pledged to work on a social plan to combat poverty. Mystique Airways of St. Vincent and the Grenadines has been placed on the list of banned airlines by the European Union. The action was taken after it failed to meet international safety standards. Airlines placed on the list are subject to an operating ban or operational restrictions within the European Union. A total of 181 airlines are banned from the EU skies. The Teaching Service Commission in Trinidad and Tobago will soon be going after teachers who are persistently late or absent from class. Chairman Fazal Ali is promising firm action. During a recent hearing before a parliamentary joint select committee, he linked teacher absenteeism to student violence and indiscipline. 300 teachers have been identified for disciplinary action. Well, a peek at sports is just ahead, but before we get there, here's a tip from Cooperators General Insurance.
This tip